Welcome back. You're listening to Get Real, and I'm your host, Bob Gallagher. And today I'm joined in studio by a special guest, Koury Signoriello from New World Realty in North Attleboro. How you doing, Koury?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thanks. So we invited you into the show today to kind of talk about what's going on in the real estate market down in your area, which would be North Attleboro, the surrounding areas, all the way down into Rhode Island, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So why don't we talk a little bit about what's going on down there? We're hearing a lot, pretty much in all of the rest of the state, that inventory is still really short, things are selling quick. You seeing pretty much the same thing down in your area?
Yeah, things do sell very quickly right now. I've in that price point between $250, $350. It's kind of like the golden area, like range of where things are going very quickly.
Right.
Houses are going on the market selling in a week. That
Really?
Are going on that price, yeah. Especially if they're actually, worth that amount of money. Like sellers are actually know what they're looking for.
So if they're priced right, they're just
Exactly.
selling fast, like pretty much the rest of the state.
Yep.
Although it sounds like it's a little more affordable there in North Attleboro than it is,
Definitely.
Obviously as you get closer to the city.
Yeah, definitely is. In North Attleboro, there's a range of, there's mainly 300 to 400 price range is where the majority of inventory is.
Right.
But we do have homes with like Westwood Estates and everything there that can go up to closer to $1 million.
No, so you're covering pretty much the whole thing from the low end all the way to the high end.
Yeah, exactly. I see it all.
And you mentioned before we got started today that you actually do a fair amount of new construction as well.
Yes.
Now, how is that different from dealing with, the one-off deals with sellers just trying to unload one property versus a whole subdivision of them?
It's quite different. You have to deal with actually waiting for this home to be built compared to it already being done. It's a lot harder to explain things to buyers when they don't see it in person of what they're actually buying. A lot of times it's just on paper and floor plans and site plans that they all have to go by. And looking at samples of granite countertops and flooring and everything to get an idea of what the place is going to look like. You have to have more of a vision.
Right.
But a lot of people love new construction just because they like the idea that no one's lived in the home before them.
Right. And if it's new, it means a lot longer before you have to worry about doing any repairs and maintenance, right?
Exactly. Everything's brand new. New roof, new heating systems, hot water tanks, all that good stuff.
Now, how long does it take to build? If you're talking about condos, for instance.
Okay. For once the hardest part is the foundation. Once you get the foundation in, you usually have to wait about 30 days or so to let the actual concrete settle.
Yeah.
Before you can start building on it. But once that's done, 3 to 4 months, you can actually have a CO and have a closing ready for someone to move in.
Oh, that's not that bad at all.
No, not at all.
And the condos that you're seeing get built down there, are they the giant buildings, or are they more like townhouses with 3 or 4 units? Just keep building a lot of them.
Right now they're more just like townhouses. They usually do phases is what we mainly do. So there'll be a phase of about 4 to 6 units per building, and then usually about anywhere between 4 and 6 phases total. So 30-ish is like the range of the amount of units going in per subdivision right now.
Excellent. And do you have any subdivisions you want to share with us? Any that you're still marketing right now?
Yeah, right now I got a great one that's in North Attleboro. It's an over 55 community, 18 units total. Those are starting at $329,900. Since it's an over 5, we just actually rearranged the floor plans to do first floor masters in there.
Wow.
Which is it's what a lot of people are looking for right now, especially in that age group. So it's great that the builder's able to accommodate that.
Right. And what about single family subdivisions? Any of those left?
Yeah, I got one in Cumberland right now. That is I think I have like 2 or 3 lots available left in that one. Those start at $489,900. They're beautiful, 2,500 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 to 3 bathrooms. Is the standard, and you get the hardwoods, all the crown moldings, granites, upgraded cabinets and everything. So they're beautiful homes.
So there's not a lot of extras or add-ons. It's pretty much all included in the price.
Yeah, well,
sounds like
this particular builder does like to add all the add-ons just right into the price.
Yeah, because that's where people are going to end up anyways. So you might as well just include it, right?
No, exactly. A lot of people, and a lot of things you see in new construction too, is people come in, they say, this is my budget, and they don't want to go over that certain amount. And 90% of the time they do, just because once you get involved with it, and you start seeing all the things getting put into the home, and like, oh, maybe I'd like to have like a stone front in the walkway, and those cost extra money, unfortunately. So they usually go a little bit over it. Right.
But it is cheaper to do it during construction instead of ripping it out and redoing it later, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I've built a couple of houses myself, and that's the problem. If you had unlimited money, you can include all the stuff, but at some point you have to start drawing that line where you're done.
If you'd have a mansion if you had unlimited money.
Yeah,
It'd be a
exactly.
castle.
Exactly. Yeah, it's amazing though, even how much new construction today has changed from what it was, even 10 or 15 years ago. Back then, even if you were spending $400,000, you weren't necessarily getting air conditioning or granite included because it wasn't expected, I guess.
No, exactly.
Now, if you're buying a new house, you're expecting those things to be included in the price point.
Exactly.
Right?
Everyone expects to have granites. Everyone expects to have hardwoods.
And that's kind of true even in the condo level too, right?
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
All the condos, all the condo subdivisions I've done, they all have those as a standard.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. And what are the price points on those condos?
They're pretty much in like the 300 to 350 price point
Right.
for new construction.
Yeah.
And those are all townhomes.
Excellent.
Too, with usually a one-car garage.
You got to have one car if you're in the Northeast, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Snow.
So why don't we talk about how the market has changed over the last few years? Because you've been doing this for quite a while.
Yeah, about 9 years.
Yeah. So up until a few years ago, it was pretty much a buyer's market for 6, 7, 8 years prior to that. Then it seems like overnight it switched to a seller's market. Have buyers accepted that reality, even now that it's been 2 or 3 years?
I think a lot of people are starting to hear more that it is a seller's market. But usually a buyer has to kind of experience going into a home that they like and putting an offer in, seeing that there are multiple offers that are getting putting down, and usually they unfortunately miss out on the first home. A lot of times it's the second time around that they end up getting the home that they want because they understand the competitiveness that they're going up against.
Right.
You got up to 10 offers on some homes that they're competing against. It's crazy.
Really, that many?
Yeah. I've seen some with more, too, up to like 20 sometimes.
So chances are, if you're buying a house pretty much anywhere, and especially in your territory, chances are it's going to be a multiple bid situation. It's pretty rare now that you see you're the only one that's going to be putting an offer in. And I'm assuming if you're the only one that's interested in the house, there's probably a reason for that, right? If there's only one person looking at it.
Yeah, it's usually called price.
Yeah. Or, I mean, sometimes could it be the quality of the place, too? Maybe it needs work? Or...
No, it could be.
Yeah.
But if it does need work, then obviously that can be reflected in the price for it to make it sell quicker. But it's really hard to find that, like, special niche of, like, exactly what you should do to your home before putting on the market to make sure you get top dollar for it. It's sometimes people want to go in and redo their kitchens over and bathrooms over and put so much money into their home that they're not going to get that investment back.
Right.
So it really is more just cosmetic things of like paint, making sure things look neat, that are going to get the most, bang for your dollar.
So, and what about what can you do that doesn't really cost money? I mean, paint is pretty cheap, and that can make a big difference. What else do you recommend to your sellers before they put the house on the market?
Obviously paint. Landscaping is, a big thing too. Staging, making sure that everything's kind of depersonalized, making sure there's not like a lot of pictures all over refrigerators, and try to keep it, reasonable with the amount of like family pictures you have going on like on your walls and on furniture and stuff too. Try to just make it look like the room is usable, but at the same time not like overbearing with so much stuff.
And what about pictures when it comes to taking pictures for a property before you put it on the market?
I like to use professional photography. Right now, I used to try to take the pictures myself, and I realized I'm not a photographer at all. So I like to use professional photography for the interior, and then I actually do drone shots as well. I found someone that's really good. His name is Steve. He actually does all my drone shots, and he does a great job. And it's a really great tool for marketing as well. Catches a lot of interest.
Right. Because really what it comes down to, the pictures are going to at least get somebody interested enough to come take a look. And
Exactly. Gets them in the door.
Yeah. If you got bad pictures, chances are people aren't coming in the door.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's smart. That's smart. I think that's a great idea. Because sometimes, I mean, I've seen listings when I was looking for houses a couple of years ago, and some of the pictures just didn't even come close to doing the house justice. And I got lucky because other people didn't show up. But if you're selling, you certainly don't want that to be the case.
Exactly.
So we talked about, getting the house ready to sell. Once the house is on the market and offers start coming in, can you kind of walk us through the negotiation process? I mean, it used to be if you got an offer, you pretty much just negotiated with the one person to get the deal to the table. And now, how has it changed with multiple offers in most situations?
Well, when the buyer goes and, you try to have them put in an aggressive offer to begin with, if this is the home that they actually want. That's the main thing is you have to, kind of talk with them and say, is this the home that you want to be in? Like, do you want to live here? And if it is, then, if it's multiple offers, usually start in around asking price. And usually they come back and ask for highest and best at that point in time, probably like 90% of the time. They do. So at that point, that's when you can try to get a feel for how many offers are on the table. If there's like a ton that are over asking, agents can't give you the price points of what every offer is because that just makes it unfair. And obviously, they're going to represent the seller, and it's their seller's best interest to get as much money as possible.
Right.
So, really, it's just making sure that they go in with a pre-approval, all the documents that they need ahead of time, and be aggressive with. If that's the house they want, they should at least start at asking price and go to what they're comfortable with at a price point for a mortgage.
And do you see houses selling over asking frequently, or is it just that they're getting pretty much the asking price?
A lot of them go over asking price now.
Really?
Not like, if a home goes on the market undervalue, then it's going to get way over asking price. But usually, if something's priced correctly, it can get anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000 over if a bidding war starts, because it just draws up excitement with all the buyers and everything, and they kind of just get wrapped up into it, and it can all of a sudden just turn into, $5,000-$10,000 more.
Okay, good. Now, before I forget, I want to give everybody your contact info. So if you're looking to buy or sell anywhere in the North Attleboro area, all the way down to Rhode Island or into Rhode Island, because you're licensed there as well, right?
Exactly.
Give Koury a call. You can reach him at 774-991-2579. Again, it's Koury Signoriello, 774-991-2579. Now, going back to the negotiation, if you look at the other side of the table and you're the buyer in a multiple offer situation, what can you do to make your bid stand out?
Basically, make sure that you have your pre-approval already ready to go. I usually recommend to go in at an asking price if it's multiple offer situation. You're going to, make sure that, whoever you're using as your agent is in good contact with whoever the seller's agent is. So that way you can be informed of how many offers are coming in. And like I said, if this is the home that specific buyer wants, then they have to be prepared to be aggressive and to go over asking price. It's a tough situation because there's nothing you can specifically do in order to make sure you get the home. A lot of people write letters, which is good. I don't think it ever hurts to write a letter. But that's mainly if the seller has more of an emotional connection to the home.
Right.
If they did a lot of work to it or anything. But there's really not too much you could do to make sure you get the home that you want, other than just like putting your best foot forward.
And offering as much money as you basically can afford, or that you think the house is worth, right?
No, exactly. And any good agent's going to be able to at least let you know what they feel comfortable for going in at a maximum price point at that home should be. If it's on for $350, a lot of times agents would say, I don't feel comfortable if you went over $360 or $365, just because, like I said, a lot of times buyers get wrapped up in the excitement of everything that they don't necessarily make the most rational decisions because they just want the home and they want to do what they can. And it's a tricky situation that if, the offer that's right below you is $10,000 less than you and you just get too excited and offer way more, the seller's obviously going to take it, as long as it's going to appraise out for them. But, it's just it's a very delicate situation, I guess you would say.
Right. Now, do you see people that are willing to take out home inspection contingencies in an effort to get their offer accepted? Or
I've seen it before. It's not something I would say is a common thing, just because I think a lot of sellers have just come to expect the fact that a buyer is going to ask for a home inspection. It's their right to ask for it.
Right.
Because home inspections aren't necessarily just for trying to find out, what could go wrong with the place, but kind of helping buyers get an understanding of how to work their heating system, work the home, work the things that they're going to be getting. So it's more a lot of times it's just for informational purposes as well.
Right. And when problems do come up in a home inspection, because it happens occasionally, do you find that sellers are less willing to negotiate because of the change in the way the market works? Or
I think that they are a little bit less willing. I don't think it's not that they don't negotiate.
Right.
They're just not willing to go through and have the entire house painted to make sure that the sale goes through because they know that there's another buyer right around the corner who would be willing to put an offer in. But I usually work with, at least thankfully right now, reasonable people who, you know, if it's a safety issue or something that could, you know, be potentially bad for the seller living there as well, then they usually do something about it.
All right. So people are still reasonable, but you're not going to use it to drag the price down just because.
Home inspections aren't for trying to just renegotiate the price.
Yeah, those days are gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I'm going to give out your contact info again, Koury. If you want to give Koury a call, if you're looking to buy or sell anywhere in the North Attleboro area all the way down into Rhode Island, you can reach Koury at 774-991-2579. Again, it's 774-991-2579. We've only got a couple minutes left. I wanted to ask you a little bit about social media marketing and how that's changed over the last couple of years. Are you seeing a lot of people using that to actually sell houses?
Oh, yeah, and it does work very well, too. Facebook is something that I use really I use a lot to advertise all of my properties. Like I said, with the drone shots and everything too, posting pictures. There's Instagram too. That's really big. People love it. It gets a lot of attention to that home. And since there's so many buyers in the market right now, you just never know how you're going to come across them.
Right.
And I'm always amazed to see how many people are liking or sharing or commenting on pictures of houses. So
really,
so good pictures of houses.
Yeah. So it's a good way to get the word out about the house being on the market.
Exactly. It's very informative for a lot of. I mean, most people have a Facebook at least.
Yeah.
So I mean, it just reaches everybody.
Okay, great. So we're just about out of time. So I'm going to give out your contact info again. Again, if you're looking to buy or sell anywhere in North Attleboro all the way down into Rhode Island, Koury's the guy to call. Koury Signoriello at New World Realty. 774-991-2579. Again, it's 774-991-2579. Koury, thanks for coming on the show with us today.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with more Get Real after this.